All right, let's get right into it. So Google hasn't exactly put out a press release or anything, but if you know where to look, the signs are everywhere. We're talking about new infrastructure being rolled out, live tests running in the background, and the whispers in the dev community are getting seriously loud. It all points to one thing: a massive new AI model, probably called Gemini 3, is right around the corner.
And that brings up a really big question, especially for a field like architecture that's so visual and so packed with data. The question is, are you ready for this? Because what's coming isn't just a small tweak.
Now, this is what the source material we're digging into today calls a fundamental platform-level shift. It's not just a software update. It's like changing the entire operating system for how AI can tackle architectural work. And believe me, the implications are going to be huge.
So, first things first, let's look at the evidence. Why is everyone so sure that this massive shift is about to happen?
Well, it's way more than just rumors. There's real tangible stuff happening right now. We're seeing signals that new video models like VO 3.1 are being rolled out internally. We know for a fact that A/B tests are running live in AI Studio. That's when they show different versions of a product to different users. And then there's that date, October 22nd, that just keeps popping up in developer circles. This isn't just smoke and mirrors, you guys. This is the sound of a new engine being installed.
Okay, so we've established something is coming. But what makes it so different? Well, it all comes down to the AI's ability to finally speak the native language of architecture.
The magic term here is something called full-stack cognition, and this is the key. Older AIs, they kind of cheat. They look at an image, then they describe it with text. See? 2 separate steps. What we're talking about now is an AI that processes everything: the image, the words, the spreadsheet data, all at the same time, as one single unified thought. It's a total game changer.
So what does that actually look like for an architect? Well, picture this. The AI reads a super dense 50-page zoning PDF. At the same time, it's interpreting the 3D geometry from your SketchUp file. And while it's doing that, it's also cross-referencing a spreadsheet with all your lot coverage calculations. And then, poof, it synthesizes all of that into an analysis you can actually use, all at once. No cutting and pasting, no translating between different formats. It just understands. And when that happens, everything changes. I mean, you could just upload your drawings instead of trying to type out a long, clumsy description. Feasibility studies could happen in real time as you design. You could have this intelligence just sort of living in your Google Docs and Drive, helping you out. A solo architect could suddenly have the output of a whole team. It even changes the game of competition itself. It's no longer just about who has the best ideas, but who is the best at orchestrating this incredible new intelligence.
And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? For the very first time, we might actually have an AI that doesn't need us to translate for it. It can read the plans, it can understand the sections, it can process the data tables, it gets the native medium of architecture right out of the box.
Okay, but here's where we need to pump the brakes a little. Because having all this amazing raw intelligence is not the end of the story. In fact, it creates a whole new, massive challenge. I like to call it the power plant problem. And this slide just lays it out so perfectly. The promise, the hype is amazing. But here's the reality. This powerful new AI, it doesn't know you from Adam. It has no idea about your past projects, it doesn't know the weird little quirks of your city's building code, and it definitely doesn't know your firm's specific way of doing things. It's just pure generic brain power.
Which brings us to this absolutely brilliant metaphor. Gemini 3 is a brand new, state-of-the-art power plant. It can generate a ton of intellectual energy. But what good is a power plant if you haven't built the city? You still have to build all the transmission lines, the substations, the whole grid to actually use that power.
So how do you build that city? How do you actually put this power to work? Well, the source we're looking at gives us a really simple but powerful framework for this, breaking it all down into 3 key layers.
Check this out. At the bottom, you've got layer 1, the model layer. That's the power plant, the big AI models from Google, OpenAI, you name it. At the top, layer 3 is the interface. That's what you and your clients see, the dashboards and reports. But the real action, the place where the opportunity is absolutely massive, is right there in the middle. Layer 2, the system layer. That's the grid. That's where you build the workflows that connect the raw brain power to what your firm actually needs to do. And right now, that layer is a giant empty gap.
And this is the core idea, the main takeaway. So many people are just sitting back waiting to see which AI model is going to win. But that is completely the wrong question to ask.
The models are commodities. They'll get better and cheaper all the time. The real, lasting competitive advantage is going to come from building out that system layer, layer 2. That's where the value is.
So that brings us to the really practical part. What do you do right now? When this new tech finally drops, the advice is simple. Don't get distracted by all the flashy demos. Instead, you need to turn inward and start asking some tough questions about your own firm.
First up, where are the choke points? And I'm not talking about creative inspiration. I'm talking about the grind, the endless coordination, the painful code research, the compliance checklists, the documentation. Where does the simple act of processing information bring your practice to a grinding halt?
Next question. What about your firm's memory? Think about all those hard-won lessons, those brilliant little strategies, those specific client preferences. Where do they go when a project is over? Most of the time, they just die in a server folder somewhere. Where is that crucial context being dropped and then painfully recreated from scratch on the next project?
And finally, ask yourself this mind-blowing question. What if your firm's entire history, every drawing, every RFI, every single lesson learned, wasn't just a dead archive, but a living, breathing database you could ask questions to? What would you ask it? Because that right there, that is your firm's real, unique, defensible advantage.
Because here's the bottom line. This base technology, this power plant, it's coming for everybody. The playing field is about to be leveled. The firms that will own the next 10 years are the ones who start building these practice-level systems now, before everyone else catches on.
So, when it all comes down to it, you're faced with a simple choice. The next decade is coming. Fast. Are you going to be out there shopping for the latest off-the-shelf tool, always one step behind? Or are you going to be building the system that puts you in control? The question is, which one will you be?